All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to talk about one of YouTube's most important policies, and honestly, one of the easiest to mess up: the rules around impersonation. Getting this wrong can have some really serious channel-ending consequences, so we're going to break down exactly what you need to know to stay safe. You know, there are a few things on YouTube that are taken so seriously they can get you in trouble faster than almost anything else. We're talking about the kind of violation that can completely bypass the usual warning system. And there it is, impersonation. Now, on the surface, it seems pretty straightforward, right? Don't pretend to be someone else. But the devil is in the details, and that's where a lot of creators get caught. The whole point of this rule is to protect everyone, viewers and creators, from being confused, manipulated, or even scammed. So why does this policy even exist? Well, it's pretty simple. It all comes down to trust. Think about it. When you click on a channel, you should be able to feel confident that it is who or what it says it is. This policy is basically the backbone of that trust for the entire platform. Okay, the key phrase you really need to focus on here is intent to confuse. That is the core test YouTube uses. It's not just about having a name that's kind of similar to someone else's, it's about whether your channel is designed in a way that could genuinely mislead someone. Now, there is a very, very narrow exception for parody. If it's so obvious you're making a joke and absolutely no one would think you're actually that person, you might be okay. But that is a razor-thin line to walk. If there's any confusion at all, you're taking a huge risk. This whole policy really boils down into two main categories that we see all the time. First, you've got impersonating another channel, and second, you have impersonating an individual person. Let's take a look at how those are different. This example here just shows that whole intent thing perfectly. Take a look at the one on the left. Just swapping out the letter O for a 0 isn't going to save you. Not at all. Because if you're also copying the logo, the banner art, and the whole vibe of the channel, YouTube is going to see that as a clear attempt to trick the audience of the real tech world. Your safest bet always is just to be original. And personal impersonation goes way beyond just your channel page. Even your comments matter. Seriously. Imagine seeing a famous YouTuber replying to comments all over the platform. That carries a lot of weight, right? But if it's really an impersonator, they're just abusing that creator's hard-earned reputation. And this, of course, also applies to using anyone's real name and picture to try and gain trust for your own stuff. Okay, this is a big one. This is where so many creators with the best of intentions get into trouble: fan channels. So let's be clear. You are allowed to run a fan channel, but, and this is a big but, there are very specific rules you absolutely have to follow to stay on the right side of this policy. The most crucial thing here is clarity, and it has to be right up front. You have got to make it blindingly obvious in your channel name or your handle that you are a fan account. You can't just name your channel XYZ Official and then try to hide a little disclaimer way down in the About section. The very first thing a viewer sees, your name, cannot be misleading. Period. All right, let's talk about the last category, impersonating a brand, and then we'll get into the very serious consequences for breaking any of these rules, because this isn't just about individual creators, it's about protecting huge companies and even news organizations. Yeah, this kind of impersonation can cause some major damage. A channel that's just pretending to be a legit news source can spread all sorts of misinformation, or one that's pretending to be an official brand can scam people into buying knockoff products. This is where YouTube's policy becomes a really critical tool for keeping users safe. And because the potential for harm is so incredibly high, the penalties for breaking any of these rules are, well, they're not something you want to mess with. This is not a slap on the wrist kind of situation. The consequences get serious, and they get serious fast. It might start with a video or a comment being taken down, but it can quickly escalate to your entire channel being terminated. And you really need to pay attention to that last step. In the worst cases, YouTube can hit you with a permanent ban with absolutely no prior warning. One minute you have a channel, the next it's just gone. So, with all these different rules, how do you make sure you stay safe? Well, it all comes down to this one simple question. This is the ultimate litmus test. Before you name your channel, before you hit publish, just stop and ask yourself this. It's that simple. If there is any chance that a reasonable person could get confused, you are in the danger zone. If the answer to that question is yes, or even a maybe, then you need to go back and make things a lot clearer. Your goal here should be zero confusion. And really, that's what this is all about: authenticity and clarity. It protects you, it protects other creators, and it protects the entire YouTube community. So take a second and look at your own channel, your own comments. Is it absolutely unmistakably clear who you are?